Drexel University's SWE chapter is very passionate about their outreach program. Students from every major advocate for and inspire young women to pursue a STEM education. By focusing on students in the Philadelphia area, we are not only giving those students the opportunity to explore fields that they did not know about, but we are also giving back to our community. In order to provide young women with the best possible material, we need to raise funds. Identifying funds can be tricky, but many organizations understand the common goal to increase the number of women in STEM fields, so they are often eager to help. There are 3 sources of funding that Drexel SWE uses. The first is university funding. SAFAC, or the Student Activity Fee Allocation Committee, aims to support the missions and goals of the organizations on campus. Each academic group gets a certain amount of funding to be used by the entire organization. Because of this, each committee within Drexel SWE splits the funding from SAFAC. The money that is allocated to the Outreach Committee is used to update demonstrations or create new activities for upcoming events. The second source of funding is corporate funding. Often, these sponsors support the entirety of Drexel SWE, so again we split up the money accordingly. What is great about corporate sponsorships is that many times, the corporation is interested in partnering with us for an event. Drexel SWE is collaborating with Lockheed Martin, for instance, this term for an Introduction to Engineering Day for young women in West Philadelphia. In this case, they may provide more than money, like food, access to better demonstrations, professional engineers who can speak to the students, and other things. This makes our partnership with the organization that much more meaningful. The third source of funding is local funding, meaning the middle schools and high schools in the Philadelphia area. Giving back to the community is so important to Drexel's vision, so we always start close to home. Many schools do not provide a proper science and engineering education, and it is very important to make sure that each and every student has access to such opportunities, so we make sure to include as many varying types of engineering as possible for a well-rounded experience. Some schools that we've worked with are Independence Charter School and North Penn High School, where we've had nights dedicated to activity rotations and information sessions. Something to note is that funding does not always have to do with money. The schools we've worked with provide us with food, transportation, materials for our demonstration, and most importantly, the students. Drexel SWE gets to empower and encourage young women, while the middle schools make sure their students get the best education they can have. It's a win-win situation. We have noticed that sponsorships are engaged mostly through activities and long-lasting relationships, as well as through our general mission of STEM outreach. Sponsors engaging through materials essentially means that they have a lot of control over what gets to be presented to the students. For instance, middle schools like Independence Charter School bought all the materials for us to use at our last event with them, but they kept all the materials so that they can replicate the demonstration for other students or for a later time. By providing not only the students but the teachers with these tools, a much bigger difference can be made. Additionally, big corporations like Lockheed Martin have access to larger scale, more impressive activities, so that can be a great asset. And most often, our sponsors will provide us with the materials to continue putting on demonstrations for more events to come. It is important that a sponsor remains engaged in these events, so long-lasting, worthwhile partnerships are the most desirable to all parties involved. Repeating our annually held events keeps students coming back. The steady stream of engineering activities inspires young students to continue and further their learning. And the consistent STEM education is crucial in the development of young female engineers and scientists. By engaging the sponsorships and such relationships, everyone continues to stay involved. As mentioned before, sponsorships are engaged through the mutual sentiment that there should be more women in STEM fields. The reason why each school and corporation is involved is because they care about this cause. Middle schools provide students with somewhere to start their basic STEM education, and corporations influence young women to continue studying engineering later in life. Most importantly, these young women are coming from our neighborhoods and our hometowns, so we're helping the community one step at a time. The most important thing to consider when trying to understand the raising of funds for SWE outreach is that you don't have to provide money to be a donor. Sponsorships and partnerships are not created for the sole purpose of getting money. It is to influence all the young women who need the opportunities that we can provide. Materials for activities are the best funds we can receive, and oftentimes we don't even keep the materials afterwards. The schools can use them and what they've learned to continue the activities and demonstrations for other students. Any funding we do receive, either from the university or from sponsors, goes right into our activities. We can buy more supplies to service a larger group or come up with some new demonstrations that we've never done before. And finally, by partnering with the university, the engineering businesses, or with local schools, together we can inspire each young woman to learn more about science and engineering, leave a lasting impact on them so they can continue within the various STEM fields, and encourage students to follow any dreams that they have. Overall, funding comes in all forms, monetary or otherwise, but by engaging the sponsorships, Drexel SWE and our partners have the ability to provide young women with the opportunity to experience STEM at an early age, and hopefully inspire them to continue pursuing science and engineering.